Welcome to our garden in Silver Lake, soon to be Parkman Triangle, the Parkman Triangle neighborhood of Los Angeles. Here's our backyard. Now, for those of you that are longtime residents of Los Angeles, you'll probably remember that concrete was the favored plant, let's just say, for front and backyards. After all, concrete is riot-proof. It's you don't have to water it, and you can park on it. But and concrete's also used for many of the structures in Century City, which I'm trying to zoom in, but I don't think you're going to be able to see on this camera. But anyway, we do have a view of Century City. Anyhow, yes, concrete was the favored building material for backyards a couple decades ago. But you know what? Plants are making a comeback. Let's go to our garden and take a look. So I'm walking down from our back porch. Here's an old garage that was turned into a deck. And this has become our backyard party area. We sport a bunch of pots from a local nursery. And in those we have succulents. Succulents are great. You can take them from other people's backyards or public property without anybody noticing. Stick them in the ground and they'll take really, really easily. Alright, so let's go downstairs. The backyard's terrace. To your left is a studio / storage unit that we keep. So here's our first terrace. This is it's pretty but useless ground cover. It's called red apple. Not really great for ground cover. It doesn't really do anything for erosion. And then these trees, yeah. They look beautiful and say a Vietnam War epic scene. Not so nice to have on your property. They just grow like mad. And they're very messy in the fall actually with all the leaves. Let's walk down to our next tier. Here we have a spry little Meyer lemon tree. And over here we have this wild fennel that we just kind of let grow wild. I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. Alright, let's go downstairs. This is where a lot of the garden action happens. Let me take you to this area. So, don't know what you can see, but this area we have beets. They seem to be struggling. And we have netting over it because those squirrels and other critters are getting in there. By the way, we use blood meal to repel the squirrels. They don't like it. And over here, we got some baby lettuces that are just starting. Here we have a French sorrel, very yummy, lemony salad green. Microgreens over here, chives in that little area, and more microgreens over here. You know what? Here's another tree of heaven. Let's pull this out. And hope we don't pull anything out in the process. Alright, radishes here. A dying tomato plant here. The season's pretty much done. Some baby chard in that pot. We walk over here. And in this bed, earlier in the summer we had salad greens. I did okay, but I'm planting parsnips. I have all kinds of sprouts. I'm not sure what are weeds and what are parsnip sprouts. And here's some more succulents. Love these. And in fact, if you look at this one right here, we just planted these a couple weeks ago and it's already sprouting a baby. Here are my prides and my joys, I guess. My blueberry bushes. Bought these at the Huntington Library last year. And because it's winter, we need to put ice around them to mock the East Coast winter conditions. And if you look right here, look! A blueberry that was not scored has turned into a baby blueberry plant. Pretty cool, eh? Alright, so let's go down to the bottom level of our garden. Here we have bamboo. It's been here over a year. It's sprouting like crazy. It's not native, but we got the clumping kind so it won't take over the backyard. And it's very effective for blocking out the neighbors that live behind you that you may throw wild quinceanera parties and that you just don't like. Very, very effective ground cover. Here we have this grass, which we don't really take care of other than a couple waterings a week. Eventually we like to get rid of it, maybe plant something more hardy like demandia. And then here is where the garden started earlier in the spring. Here we have eggplant, which are still doing really well. They're still blossoming. And homegrown eggplant, by the way, is the best. The rind is not tough. It just tastes like butter when you cook it. Got the token basil plant that really is ignored, but it's still doing quite well. and our last couple tomato plants. We did have some squash, they're pretty much done, and then we have some arugula and other herbs that we've got in pots, and I'll take you over here as well. We got Mexican oregano, we have another French sorrel, we have a bunch of chives, we have some wild fennel, and here in the corner, it looks kind of sad, but this is our avocado tree. It had a rough summer. A lot of the leaves died, but if you look, it keeps sprouting and sprouting and sprouting. It's going to be doing well. And then let me take you over to our meditation garden. Yes, here's Buddha, half off at the local nursery store. And we have a couple Kuiper lilies. These are from South Africa. These are great because, yes, they're not native, but they don't require a lot of water. They're very hardy, and they can do with as much or as little water as you give. And we have them surrounded by pea gravel because squirrels were getting in here and digging them up. But man, they'd practically dig out the roots, and I just plant them back in, and they were fine. So got more bone meal also here to repel the squirrels. This area just kind of takes care of itself. These are nasturtium. They grow into beautiful red, orange, or yellow blossoms that you can put in salads. They have a nice peppery taste. This is some wild baby ginger that just kind of sprouts every year. And this ledge here, we have some rosemary growing here, and then we have another plant. I already forgot the name. I was not happy. I went to La Crescenta Nursery, asked for a good native ground cover. They gave me this. The little flowers look pretty when they bloom. Problem is that they're an invasive species. But based on the fact that I barely take care of them, it looks like they're not going to invade anything but this little area. And then finally, our little fig tree. It's lost most of its leaves for the winter. Again, it's a good idea to surround your fruit, particularly citrus plants, with pea gravel, leaving just enough around the trunk. You don't want the rocks catching the trunk, but this is a good way to keep those weeds out. Anyhow, so we've got a typical Silver Lake backyard, and thanks for listening and watching.